Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. We're picking up right where we left off as Anscombe just departs ways heading towards the Merry Guard, saying you can find him there when you're finished, having just informed him of your plans to find a natural phenomenon.
Yeah, normal Tuesday.
It's pretty late in the evening at this point. Lorna, what do you do?
It's late in the evening and she knows she has to do it at night. Is it sun has descended?
It is.
Evening?
It is. It is. The sun is gone. Yeah.
Evening proper. Okay. Well, hey, no time like the present. She is going to try to find the location that she and Anscombe stumbled upon a million years ago when they went for a walk in the Allen Forest and almost saw a nymph.
Okay. Roll me a survival check.
Oh boy. Oh my God. The poetry.
Okay. Roll me a d100.
Okay. Dies in the woods. 70.
One moment.
It's okay. My cat is throwing a riot next to me. Why are you yelling?
All right. So, that's a
I get
70.
lost, I'm assuming.
You have no idea where you are.
Fuck me.
As you are making your way through the Allen Woods, let me go ahead and change the imagery. It is later at night, so it's a little dark. Let me change the lighting a bit.
I think as a flavor of setting out and immediately becoming lost, I think there's a lot of disassociation in the first part of her jaunt through the woods where she's just kind of not paying attention to where she's going and thinking about all of the things that have happened in the past couple of hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there anything in particular you're dwelling on?
Um, well, she was told not to talk to Lilith until Marigard sorts out, her attacking another mercenary for unknown reasons. But she feels like she wants to talk to Lilith, and she's wondering if she should break that promise not to talk to her. So she's thinking about what she might say or how she might say it, or how she might go about getting into contact with Lilith while she's being held.
Sure. Well, as you march through the woods, the game trails, uh, winding this way and that, you hear the sounds of wildlife. It's a cool night. It is pretty out here in the Allen Woods. Um, this is not your typical. Uh, this isn't where you typically make your way or spend your time. And while you're out here by yourself, the Allen Woods are welcoming. There's a familiarity here, almost a nostalgic feeling. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. 18.
18. Okay. Let's see here. As it's getting dark, suddenly you notice at the base of the trees around you, maybe it's fungus or moss, but it's something you've never seen before. Dull green light shines up from the ground, shining up the trees, giving them an almost effervescent glow. Seems to
Do I
go as far as you can see.
have I read anything about this? Is it like poisonous? Is it dangerous? Is it fey? Is it
Roll a
natural? Is
nature
it
check.
Oh no. I was hoping for Arcana. Okay, I didn't roll too bad. 16.
With a 16, while you've never seen it yourself, you have heard that some forests, particularly ones near the coast, the roots of the trees and the undergrowth can drink the rains from the ocean, which is often laced with magical reagent. And as such, sometimes the plants grow a little magically themselves. You suspect this is maybe a side effect of that. There's magic
Is
in the
it
air here.
is it uniform? Does it seem like it's on every tree, or does it seem like it's concentrated
Yeah,
in particular spots or areas?
it's as far as you can see. Every tree seems to glow with a dull green light that shines. It's not a sickly green. It's like a dull forest green that almost makes it feel like it's reflecting the sunlight back up in the night. It's pretty, and it makes it very easy to navigate.
I think Lorna would feel comfortable or comforted by that. It kind of reminds her of when she bumped into Magos, or at least his avatar.
Yeah, that's fair.
So she isn't 100% sure where she is.
No, you have no idea.
Can she unravel Sneaquium from her waist and lift him up so that he's looking at her?
You do. You kind of raise up Requiem, and he's looking you in the eye, eyes pure white.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Lorna?
Hey, could you turn into something to get a better vantage point and maybe help me figure out where I am and maybe where I need to go?
He turns into a raven, and he floats straight up.
She will communicate.
I think I'm looking for a body of water, potentially with a waterfall.
I will search. I'm gonna roll for Requiem.
Roll Quium.
Okay. It's pretty good. One moment. Do me a favor and roll me a d4.
Okay.
2.
It takes a minute. You're basically, what are you doing while you wait?
That's a good question.
I think she's wondering about the ritual, the rite of repentance, and how Luminas will appear to her, if she'll appear at all. Like, is she worthy? Is she gonna understand why Lorna's doing this? Is she gonna think that she's truly contrite or, effectively repentant enough so to achieve this apparent anomaly or what have you in order to apologize to this druid circle? She's kind of speculating how it will go, and she has no basis to even assume how it will go. So it's just wild conjecture.
Right. Okay. As you're thinking about this, you hear trouble with the gods.
But her
It
new
is
patron?
Vicar, yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, trouble. Not with this god in particular, but I've been known to cause some trouble with some gods before.
I imagine so.
I'm hoping to find a marvel of Anth out here, but I'm not amazing at directions.
So you've sent a familiar.
Well, he can see more than I can. Oh, my goodness. I can fly. She puts her face in her hands. Completely forgot that I can fly now.
For someone so caught up in themselves, you seem to forget many things about yourself.
It's kind of a new thing. I mean,
She'll unfurl the translucent wings from her back and ascend.
Okay. So you fly up and you see Requiem like scouting, basically. He's floating around in the near periphery. As you ascend above the canopy of the trees, you're looking for a phenomenon of Anth, a natural phenomenon. And as you're looking around, roll me another perception check.
Okay. And she'll think inwardly, thank you. If you meant to trigger that memory, that I had that ability. If not, happy coincidence.
There is no response.
Okay. 24. That's a lot better.
With a 24, you see Requiem is looking off to your right in the easterly direction. But you see, it's far away, and it's not really a surprise that Requiem hasn't noticed it yet. You see mist rising just a bit over the treetops north of where you are.
She will call Requiem's attention to her, and when he looks her way and realizes she's flying too, she'll be like, I just remembered I could do this.
I just thought you wanted to look... And he just... on the ground.
Yes. Yeah, okay. How about, let's go this way. She'll beckon him to follow her.
Okay. As you fly in that direction, you see the terrain takes a familiar appearance, and as you're flying above it, so you see the canopy falls away, and you see beyond it a cliff that's not super high, but it's very... It looks like a giant carved it with their fingertips. You can see the stone almost gets pulled away as if the perfect lines of fingernails pulled it down. And you see water falls down in between the trees into what's almost like a hidden cove or bay beneath the waterfall. The rivers that run away from this small lake that you're looking at, they're nestled within the trees, and it makes it look very secluded and private. This is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Before she gets too close, she'll look to Requiem and say, could you just scout it out? If the nymph is there, there's a chance I'll go blind. I don't know if it'll affect you, but I'd like to not go blind.
Requiem goes and begins to search. It doesn't take long before he says, there is some wildlife at the water's edge, but I do not see any persons.
Excellent. Could you touch down and turn back into a dog and just kind of keep an eye out for me?
He does as you ask.
She will descend to the body of water.
Okay. You see that directly opposite where the falls crash into the water, there is a flat shore it's more like a pebble beach that plants are growing up all over the place. But there is a flat approach that you recognize. If you at Anscombe had kept moving in this direction, this is where you would have come out. You're pretty confident this is exactly where you were.
Okay. A natural phenomena of ants is here.
And she recalls back to what Folly said, it could be really anything, but it's something that's unusual for the place, or it should stand out to her in some capacity, she imagines.
Mm-hmm.
So she begins prodding around the area for something out of place and potentially spectacular that she just hasn't seen yet.
Roll investigation.
15.
It takes a while. You're walking around these falls in this cool watering hole that you can see all sorts of wildlife are using, basically just as a watering hole. And as you're walking around it, suddenly you see it, and it takes your breath away. As you look towards the water, almost giving up, where the water falls, you see a twinkling light where it touches the water. It seems a little like something is shining beneath the water. And when you back up or you lower your head to get a better look, suddenly you see a dazzling array of circling blue light, buried beneath the waterfall and only visible when you look at it from the right angle. But you can see it almost looks like a brilliant blue spiral of ephemeral lights that run so deep into the water it must go hundreds of feet. And as you peer into it, you can see deep in the water are crystals that reflect the light back towards you. The effect of the waterfall falling on it makes the whole thing feel like it's rippling, as if you're looking into another world. And it is dazzling.
Okay. I think I found it. Oh, shit, now what?
Does it seem like it's deep where the water is falling?
Maybe a couple feet.
She'll kick off her shoes and roll her leggings up and kind of start wading out
The
to get
water is
closer to it.
cool, but not freezing. It's fresh water, and it feels remarkably refreshing as you get into it. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy, okay. Natural 20 for a 26.
You feel rejuvenated. It feels as though the cool water, as it laps up against your ankles, you feel that the stresses of today sap away from you. It's as though, yeah, there are things going wrong, but everything will be okay. Everything will be just fine.
That's an optimism Lorna is not familiar with.
As you wade out in the water, you can't help but notice there is a bright, white, full moon shining down on you.
Oh, perfect. Perfect timing. Oh, I hope this isn't a prayer thing. I'm not good at those.
She'll look at the moon and think,
Luminas? I was told I might be able to find you here. Do you have time for me?
Roll me a persuasion check.
dirty 20.
There is no response, but you can't help but feel as though the breeze that was passing between the trees and brushing your hair away from your face suddenly stills. You suddenly feel like something changed.
Okay. A good start. I am searching for a proof of my repentance for something that I did a long time ago that I'm truly sorry about. And I don't know how I can manifest that contrition, but apparently it's possible, and that's what it takes to convince the druids that I'm sorry. Could you help me?
Are you sorry?
Um, I am. I didn't do it in such a way that I was conscious of doing so, but I'm connected to the one who did do it, and
You suddenly see in the water around you, it's as though the light's coming from that cavern deep beneath the water is glowing light up towards you, and it takes shapes. It's ethereal shapes, as though you're watching spirits, and then you realize they're not spirits. It is a memory. It is your memory, or at least the memory of one you're connected to. You see hate and rage and fear. You watch as a spirit raises a hand and another suddenly is torn asunder and falls to the ground. You watch as it's clear figures are screaming at each other. The one that looks like you is running. Their hands raised and flames are raised behind them. You cannot help but feel, well, is Lorna sorry for what happened?
he's devastated that it played out the way that it did. She understands that Lily was grieving and was not acting rationally, but the fact that other people, innocent people, paid for it is something that she regrets deeply.
You need to roll me another wisdom saving throw.
Okay. $15.
You are brought to your knees in this water as you feel that anguish, that guilt, the sorrow for others wash up through you from the water, as if all of that worry that was taken away from you is suddenly brought crashing back into you. You feel the same emotion in the moment that Lily felt, but you also feel the emotions of everyone who suffered or perished in that moment: confusion, fear, surprise, rage. As those emotions wash up through you, through your feet, up through your core, to your chest, to your heart, you feel it's almost as if your heart is slowing as this anguish seems to take time away from you. All the while you're watching this memory happen in front of you in representations of spiritual light that glows, twisting, turning in the air in front of you. As you stand, as you kneel, as you fall into the water, you're flat on your back. You're seeing this happen. You're feeling it happen. You remember what it felt like to release your frustration with no satisfaction. There is no catharsis in this rage. And at the end of it all, in your memory, in the vision of you or past you, running away from the deaths of people that didn't deserve it, all you feel now is rage, pain, and frustration that no one could help you, that they wouldn't help you, that their traditions were too important to them than Malcolm is to you. And as that pain washes through you, you are genuinely sorry. You regret. And you feel that regret pull away from you. Do you let it go or do you pull it back?
Oh man. That's a good question. I think she holds on to it just a little bit in like a I deserve to feel this way. But she also knows that holding on to it and punishing herself for it isn't going to fix things either. So there's a moment of like tightening around it to keep it with her before letting go.
As soon as you accept that, as soon as you release it, suddenly there is a vision in front of you that's much more solid. As that vision of the memory is gone, you feel a heavy weight in your hand. Something solid is in your hand. And you reach down to look at it, and then suddenly you feel your wrist being pulled, and in front of you is a beautiful, pale woman.
Oh,
She's wearing a gown of all white, but the silks are translucent in places. But it is not suggestive. It feels regal. You get the impression suddenly that you're laying on your back in front of a queen. And as this woman grasps your wrist, you suddenly feel yourself being pulled up, out of the water. It's sudden. And you are yanked up onto your feet, but it's not jerking. It's as though you never fell. And that weight is still in your hand. The woman clasps her hands around yours. She doesn't open her mouth, but you hear, "No one can ever forgive you if you cannot forgive yourself. You have taken the first steps."
thank you. I'm tired of people who don't deserve it to be hurt by me. I don't want to hurt people who don't deserve it anymore.
That is enough. That want is beautiful. It is the core of all good in this world. She clasps her hands around the one that's closed. You feel something heavy, and it's hard. It feels like a stone or something. And as she wraps her hands around yours, she brings it up to her lips, and she kisses it. And then suddenly she's gone, and your hand is held in front of you, closed. You stand knee-deep in this pool, beneath the moonlight.
What can she look at what's in her hand?
Yeah. There is a perfect sphere. It looks like it might be a crystal of quartz, but inside of it, the light shines and you see the moon. As if the moon was encased in solid diamond. It is no bigger than, say, a golf ball, but it feels so heavy in your hand.
Lorna briefly thinks about the weight of regret and how heavy that could feel, and she thinks they're probably similar. And she looks back up at the full moon. I'm assuming
There
it's
is no
still
full
there.
moon.
Oh shit!
It is but a waxing crescent.
Oh. Wow. She'll stick this token, this phenomena, as if she's assuming correctly, into her bag. Or title it Moon Orb. And I think she'll spend a pensive moment or two just kind of standing there, looking up at the sky.
You
And
can't
then realize,
help, as you look up at the sky, you feel the softest brush of lips over your knuckles. You don't know if it's a memory or a reminder or a goodbye. You don't know.
I think she'll just say quietly, "Thank you. Thank you for taking your time to help me."
The air is still still around you. Is there any hint of deception or secret as you say that?
She's genuinely grateful. She didn't even really think when she got there that she was worth the time of day for a truly good
anything, let alone a goddess to to guide her in solving this issue, the mistakes that she's made.
Then you would hear, I cannot ignore a true soul. You are worth it.
I would single tear, a la Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
and she would leave the pool, probably sopping wet. Did she genuinely go full body
Oh,
in the
yeah.
water? Okay, so she's wet.
Yes. But as the water drips away, it's weird. It's like as soon as you step out of the hearth of the pool, you are not wet anymore. The water
nice.
does not travel with you, it seems.
Hera was worried about chafing. I think she knows that she can fly. She addressed that when she got to the pool, but I think she walks back to the Marigard, and I think she walks back slowly and pensively, and she kind of turns over her thoughts, and she thinks about what she said to Luminos, and it's about how she's so tired of being the reason that other people suffer, especially people who had the misfortune of existing in her vicinity. Like, they've done nothing wrong. It was just a bad luck for them. And she's thinking that a lot of what she's had to deal with, a lot of the guilt that she's had, and a lot of the people who've been hurt have been in Lily's lifetimes. Granted, they were long and they were many, many people. But that doesn't mean Lorna is innocent of doing that to others too, even if her time has been briefer and she's not had the power or the influence to hurt others in quite the same way Lily has in her lifetimes. But she kind of starts mulling over her relationships with her friends that she's made since she took her life for her own and she left Saris and joined the Marigard, and she starts being really critical about the effect that she's had on their lives too. And if she's genuinely been good for them, or maybe she's hurt them. And that's what she's thinking about when she slowly and quietly walks back on foot.
Okay. As these thoughts are crossing through your mind, I need you to roll me two things. First is an Arcana check, or a religion check, either.
Arcana.
Okay.
25.
It was a high DC, but a 25 is good enough. You remember, whilst you are reading about the planes and significant locations of magic, you remember reading that there are locations of divine magic that wizards have tried to recreate or access on their own, and there is no way to do so. They are entirely controlled by the Celestials who created them. And that includes Celestials of the Nether Realms and of the Upper Realms. These locations, sometimes just referred to as shrines, are entirely at the whim of those Celestials. You get the feeling you just visited a shrine of Luminos, or a celestial location of Luminos. You get the feeling she's still listening. And I need you to roll me a D100.
Oh boy. So she heard her mulling over those thoughts.
Yes.
Oh boy. 76.
In your honesty with yourself, in how you have basically taken a moment to look in on yourself and, well, acknowledge that you are a flawed person and you wish to do better by people and those that you care about. 76.
Even people I don't care about. They don't deserve it either, but also the people in her life.
Okay. Okay, I need you to roll me a d20.
Okay. That's a 2.
You have gained a divine boon.
Oh shit. Okay.
I will reveal it to you at a later time, but I know what it is.
Okay.
You feel reinforced. Your spirit feels fortified. You feel assured about something. You don't know what it is, but it's a confidence that seems to underlie every movement you take. As though Luminos agrees. So you walk all the way back to the Merigard. Do you walk?
Oh yeah.
Do you go to the Merigard or to the Merigard Academy?
Well, Anscombe said he was waiting for her at the Mary Guard, and she wants to talk to him, so that's where she's going.
Okay. As you head to the Merigard Tavern.
Hopefully nobody else is there. It's the Mary Guard.
Hold on. It is an uncharacteristically quiet night at the Merigard.
Yes.
Many of the tables are open. You see Anscombe is at a table, and you see that he is not alone. He's seated with Sagona,
Okay.
and they're talking and drinking. And Sagona sees you enter, and she just goes, "Hey there!" And Anscombe looks over. "How do you look?"
She looks tired. Because she's had a long day, and she was also stabbed and thrown out a window.
Those things did
And
happen.
she walked into the woods and then walked all the way back and then to here. So I think it's evening, so it's been a long day for Lorna. She looks tired, but I think she looks at peace in such a way that she seems sure of herself or determined. Like she's got a goal in mind.
Okay. Anscombe sees you, and he stands up. "Hey, you look a little better than earlier. Is everything okay?
I think so.
I haven't seen
Um,
Requiem out and about in a while." He's like walking next to you.
he was um watching my back. I mean, when isn't he? But you know what I mean.
There's this, and he points to your throat, and he says, "When did that happen? Did I miss that?"
What? What?
You
What
cannot
is it?
see it under your chin.
Oh, what is it? Can you tell me?
He like reaches up and tries to like scratch at it.
Ow.
Oh, it's a white half moon, I think, or a crescent. Is it what?
Is there like
Hang
a
on. And he
scoop
pulls
taken out of it?
he pulls a dagger off
That
his
works
belt.
too.
It's a very polished one, and he holds it up so you can see the reflection of it. You see in the center of your throat, right above the clavicle, right here, there is a tiny white crescent moon.
Hmm. Wonder if that's permanent.
What?
Do you have like any plans this evening?
I'm a little tipsy, but no, we were just catching up. And Sigona's like at the table, and she just goes, "Hey there."
Hey, Sagona. It's been kind of a weird day for me. Do you mind if I catch up with you tomorrow?
Sure.
And if I borrow him, I don't know if you're in the middle of something.
You can get some more information out of him later. That's fine. You see Sagona looks concerned as she's looking at you.
Like he might have like confided that he was worried or something.
Maybe, or the fact that, Sagona's insight's very high.
It's true. Um, Lorna will look at Anscombe and just say, "Do you mind if we find somewhere to talk?"
All right, sure. Somewhere like a table here or somewhere quiet, quiet.
Um, she'll look and is a tender at the bar.
Yes.
She'll go up to them and just say, "Can I have a room?"
Of course. 2 silver a night.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll just take a night, 2 silver.
He gives you a key.
Penn is hoping that it's the same room that she and Anscombe stayed in after the fall festival, but I know it's a luck of the draw.
Roll me a D100.
The symmetry would be amazing. 26.
It is not the same room.
C'est la vie.
Yeah. It is still a nice room. All the rooms at the Merry Guard seem to be decent. But it is on the opposite side of the tavern.
I mean, at the very least, they're at the Merigard, and that's symbolic somehow. So she'll
Sure.
come back to him and say, "I got us a room. I mean, you don't have to sleep here if you don't want to, but
No, that's fine. Sure. And he follows you.
she'll wave bye to Sagona.
Have fun.
Let's have a drink tomorrow evening."
Of course. I'll be around. I always am.
She'll go up to the room with Anscombe.
Okay. It is remarkably quieter within the room. It wasn't that loud in the tavern to begin with. There weren't that many people. So, as you... Hold on a minute. I'm trying to get this music to go. Please? I'm sorry. One moment. It's causing
worries.
me troubles.
Not troubles.
I do enjoy when it randomly moves. Okay. There we go. So, you're in the room with Anscombe. That's a little bit too dark. There we go. You alright? What's going on?
First, how tipsy is tipsy for you? Is this something that we need to like wait out? Maybe play some dragon chess.
We can play chess if you'd like, but I'm fine. I just had a couple.
Okay, obviously some stuff has happened in the past couple of hours, and
Hey, I said that you can talk to me when you're ready. So, if this is something you're trying to push, it's okay.
I appreciate that, but in this case, pushing is just, it's doing a disservice to you. At the very least, let's start with what happened today. I know I told you a little bit in the hall after the whole Lilith thing.
There was some devil talk and a natural phenomenon.
So, where should I start? I guess I started today asking around with a bunch of our instructors to get some information. You know how we're going north to the Rimwood, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
We scored a job there, so that's one reason, but another was
That's in
because, yeah, even further north. It's neither here nor there. It was just convenient that it was that way. And I know that your father, the last time you saw him, was in Siren's respite, right?
Yeah.
I do want to meet him.
And I'm hoping that it'll be a good experience for you, even if it doesn't feel like it right now because of how you feel like you left.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that. Um, and I know I wasn't 100% honest about about kind of what I was thinking about when I said I wanted to go in that direction.
Yeah.
So there's a druid circle there, which is why I asked you about the druid circles to begin with.
I did put those two together. I just don't know why.
The verdant circle is the one that I was particularly keen on. And that's because there was someone who was part of that circle in one of my previous lives, or one of my other souls previous. You know what I'm saying, right?
I think so.
I need to emphasize right now how important it is that there is a difference between me and the one who came before me, even though we share a body right now. I'm in the driver's seat, I suppose.
Is that
Or
gonna change?
you understand that we're different people, right?
I do. I just, you know, it's important. I understand you're dealing with someone else's life, right? Like, I get that you're kind of picking up the pieces from somebody else.
Yeah. And this person, Lily, as I call her, she's made some mistakes. Um, Obviously, I've had to, there have been repercussions that I've had to deal with, but not everything in her past lives have been bad or negative. I guess the most important thing, or rather the most important person in her life, um, was a man named Malcolm, and he was part of this Druid's Grove.
Okay. So,
And they, boy meets girl, they fell in love. They were crazy about each other, and he died tragically a long time ago. And a lot of the questionable decisions Lily has made ever since he passed were directly because of his passing in her attempts to get him back.
why, why couldn't she?
He passed during the silence.
Oh,
So already that put a hindrance on getting him back by divine means. But because he died at the hands of a Nightwalker, do you know what that is?
Anscombe slowly shakes his head.
It's a horrific nightmare from the negative energy plane that lives only to cause pain and suffering and reviles life. And its only purpose is to destroy life.
And that's what got him.
Yes. And if you're taken by a Nightwalker, if your life ends at their hands, not a lot is known, but it's widely accepted that your soul is rendered. It's disfigured beyond recognition and lost forever, basically.
What does that have, why are you telling me all this?
A lot of the things that I have paid for and continue to pay for because of what Lily has done in her attempts to bring him back Apparently Lily got into a deal with a devil at some point and decided that 400 souls were a worthy price to pay to try to bring him back. And then another 400. I can't tell you the specifics, but I know people have paid for this. And I was held responsible for that bargain. In this lifetime,
You mentioned something close to this before. You just
yes,
never went into detail.
I
800?
didn't know a lot of the details until just recently. I thought it was just 400 and I didn't know how they were collected or when or why, but I know that this devil that made the original contract with Lily pulled one over on her and got more out of it, even more than 400, potentially double that. And I found this out today, and I was angry, and I didn't know how to deal with that anger, that even more lives were ended because of me.
You felt manipulated.
Yeah, I did.
Even
Angry and
though,
manipulated,
even though it wasn't you.
but I'm paying for it.
Is
And
that what you're...
instead of sitting down and trying to figure out how I can out manipulate the manipulator who won't even show me the contract because he doesn't have to, so how am I supposed to negotiate on those grounds? I just thought, fuck it, I'll go above his head, and I went to the devil above him and struck up a bargain because I knew it would anger the original.
A bargain? What kind of bargain?
Um, in exchange for, I suppose, um, immunity from this original contract. I'm not 100% sure. I just know I can't be beholden to the step down. You know, Hu Shen is the one who I made the contract with initially. Hu Shen can't hold me to this contract because his superior is the one I answer to now.
Okay, I don't know anything about the house. Um, you mentioned it briefly before. I haven't... You, like, recommended a book to read? I haven't read any of it. It just didn't seem important until just now.
I,
So you have a deal with a devil to get out of another deal with another devil.
I know that does sound stupid, doesn't it?
I'm just trying to understand how deep a pit we're in.
Lorna is privately pleased that he said we're. I know she doesn't want to inflict pain on him by association, but he hasn't, distanced himself from her yet.
This devil that you did sign the deal with, he's higher up than the first one, right?
Yes, and he came on recommendation from Elise, the warlock instructor, who apparently has a pact with him as well. And whatever he wants me to do won't be, I suppose, as bad as whatever Hu Shen wanted me to do, which was to the tune of 400 more souls, or whatever he thought he could manipulate out of me because I didn't know the terms of the contract.
Okay, I see your train of thought.
And I guess that explains then she kind of gestures to her red hair now. I think this is kind of a result of that.
So
Which
that was
isn't
all
a big
today?
deal to me. Yes, that happened today.
And Skip, like, rubs his face.
But and I know I kind of got off track from what I was originally telling you about Malcolm.
Yeah, I was about to ask, how does this come back to him?
The initial 400 souls and
Yeah.
then the surplus, they were all collected in an attempt that Lily had to force the revival of Malcolm in a new body. But because his soul was so damaged and lost, she didn't know where it was, especially because it was during the silence and the gods didn't have any dominion over souls at that point. She thought with enough power and enough sacrifice, she could make it work. And she was quite capable as far as magic goes, but I'm trying to emphasize to you how important this was for her to bring this man back.
She was willing to give up 400 innocents.
Anymore.
800 innocents.
And who knows what else over the course of several centuries. It was at the forefront of everything she did and everything she thought about. And I bring up this Druid's Grove because when he passed, you know that Druids have the ability to bring people back to life in a different form, right?
I've read about it, yeah?
It's a non-divine revival ritual, which is why she thought perhaps that could be done when he initially passed. His own people were Druids. She figured it'd be not a simple matter, but possible.
I'm sensing this didn't work out from the line of conversation.
They refused to perform the ritual because, by the nature of his passing at the hands of a Nightwalker, they had it on good authority that even if they could bring him back, he would not be the same, and potentially twisted and wrong.
Oh.
So they refused, and Lily didn't take it well,
Right.
and she caused a lot of pain in her pain. And it's something I feel I have to make right.
Who's Malcolm to you?
I've never met him. I've only had memories of him. A few. But I know that he was the most important person in the world to Lily. And I've found that I wish to get him the rest in the afterlife that he's always deserved, as the person I know him through Lily's eyes.
Okay.
I think when I initially learned about Malcolm, there was a blurring of lines between me and Lily. In my own mind, I perceived, well, it's hard to separate your emotions when you're feeling someone else's. And I wasn't sure where that line was, or where I wanted it to be. But I made a decision that whatever happened between Lily and Malcolm, and whatever their relationship was, it's crystallized, and it's unchanging, and it's in the past. And the proof of that is on me. And she shuffles her clothing, her robe, her tunic, and she shows him the tattoo on her back.
I don't understand.
Lily is the lily, the flower.
I got that part.
And Malcolm, apparently his surname was Nightingale.
Ah. When you suggested the Nightingales as the team name, was this during that blurring or the crystallization?
It was kind of blurred on the line between those two things. If you remember that when I started recommending the name as our team was about the time I got the tattoo.
Yeah, I remember that.
I wanted to get the tattoo So I remembered that it was carved, quite literally carved, not in stone, but in skin, that those two are intertwined inextricably, but I'm not part of that.
So you just want to put Malcolm to rest
Yes,
properly.
that's what Lily told me she wanted, and I am committed to doing that because the pain and the agony and the lives lost in her pursuit to get him back, it needs to end.
Okay. So what about natural phenomena? You said you needed to find an anth
So,
phenomenon?
yes, I talked to Folly today and I told him what happened in so many words, that I had upset a Druid's Grove. And I told him which one, and he said, "Oh, that's a lot." And the only way the Druids would accept an apology and understand that I and Lily are truly contrite for what has happened was to conduct a rite of repentance and locate a natural phenomena and retrieve an essence of that and present it to the Druid's Grove to prove that through their ways I deeply apologize, that I regret what I've done.
Okay. But
And
it's
I
not like
did.
you did.
I did. I just got back, which is why I'm so fucking tired. She'll pull out the little orb, the stone, and show it to him.
Holy shit. That's... I've never seen anything like it.
I haven't either. And Luminos is very nice, by the way.
The goddess of the moon?
Yes, that was part of it.
So you
She kind of helped guide me to get this.
so you just had to bury your soul before Anth and the goddess of the moon.
I
Okay.
guess, yeah, that's kind of what happened in a nutshell.
Are you okay?
I've had a lot of emotions today. But what I was most concerned about on my way back was the whole contrition and the repentance and even the deal with this new devil. It's all about how guilty I feel and how angry I am that I've hurt people, people who didn't deserve it. And I realized on my way back that I've been hurting you by not being honest with you, and I'm so sorry.
You're forgiven. I know you're dealing with shit.
Yeah, a lot of shit.
I admit there's been some nights that I was frustrated. Hurt. I know a lot of times it seems easier to give me a soft fib than the hard truth.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not mad at you. There's a lot of shit I don't remember. There's a lot of shit that I try to remember, or I try and think about the nightmares, and I realize they were things that I did at the beckon of a false hydra. I've been doing a lot of research on my own about false hydra. Their songs can make you do whatever they want, and it can be complicated. Some nightmares I've had, terrible things that I've done, they for the pleasure of A monster. A monster born of lies and corrupted souls. There's faces I see in my dreams that I can never let go. I don't know the whole depth of what Lily did in your past lives, but if you're reliving it, a whole life, an elven life probably, or so many lives, I can imagine there's a lot of those memories. And from what you said, I can imagine looking back on some of that would be enough to break a person. That's why I never want to pressure you. I figure you'd tell me the truth when you were ready to. I'd never judge you. Or Lily. I don't know her situation. But if you're trying to help her, I have to assume there's good behind that darkness. I'm sorry that you've been afraid to talk about it. Or at least with me.
I didn't want to hurt you. Which is funny because the longer I held on to it, the more it would hurt.
We're not perfect. I told you I'd be on board. After you first told me everything, or what was everything back then.
That's what it was back then.
I told you I'd be here to help you. And I really had to think about it. But I don't think you understand what I had to think about. It was never about being worried about who you were. I was worried about who I was. If I'd slip back into something that I wasn't anymore, or something that was created by a monster. I'm not going to tell you any of the details of the nightmares I've had, as I remember things that I don't want to remember. But I will say they are worse than some of the worst raider stories I've ever heard. Done at the beck and call of that creature. And that's the only saving grace. It's really the only reason why I think my soul might be salvageable. And I figure if I can help you with this, whatever it is, I'm on the right track.
I don't know what I did to make you think that I was worth the time and effort, but I'm glad I did it.
Little things. Compassion. Do you remember those drug dealers that we dealt with on our first mission?
Yeah, I do.
You weren't out to get them. You weren't out to throw them in with the law. You listened to their side. That's not what I thought was going to happen. What I'd heard from other students and such was just you go out and do the guards' jobs for them for free. You took it so differently. And I knew in that moment that you were a good person. I didn't know how much I'd like you then. I just thought you were real pretty.
You didn't like me that much when we first met?
I liked you. But as much as a stranger can like a stranger. But I love you now.
You do.
I do.
She'll lean her head on his shoulder. I guess I'm just lucky.
Nah. There's one thing I'm not afraid of in this world. No matter what the hell trouble we get into, I'm following you through it. Because we're gonna come out the other side just fine.
Optimistic or dumb, I like it.
You just came back with proof that you were truly sorry for a terrible deed that you didn't even commit. How wrong could I be?
You'll still stick with me?
Yeah,
Okay. That's what I was worried about, so I guess I've got nothing to worry about.
that's the truth. I gave you my word.
I believe you.
Maybe one day, after we're done dealing with all this shit, or maybe when things are a little clearer in that murky water that you're looking through, maybe one day you'll love me back.
When I say it, I'll mean it.
I know.
Can I just insight check him? How's he taking all this?
Go ahead and insight check him.
General vibe check. Oh my god, Lorna. She's a little preoccupied.
He is hard to read, apparently,
I
but
rolled a fucking 2.
he seems accepting.
Okay. Do you want to just hang out here tonight?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Before we do, though, what happened with Lilith?
Oh man.
You gave me a short version, but
you already know all about the master and how she helped me escape and get to the Marigard and funded my education here and kept my dad off my back. But she's a shit person. Absolute fucknut. I didn't share with you that Lilith was in the same boat because it wasn't my story to tell.
Wait. The same boat. She's with the master, too?
Yeah. I don't know quite what her circumstances are, but whatever it was, it caused her to have to leave her home, much like I did. And the master, like I, stuck her in the Marigard to train up so she didn't have to waste time making us useful. The expectation was that Lilith and I would skip off and do our bidding for the rest of our lives, I guess, as payment for being rescued. And while I decided that somewhere after getting my hand cut off and just the sheer batshittery that was her, that I just didn't want to deal with that for the rest of my life. And I aligned myself with the Marigard and I told them that the master had won over me and that I needed their help. And we made arrangements to deal with that. But I suppose Lilith didn't come to the same conclusion I did, or didn't decide that she could break free from the master, or that it was worth the risk. And apparently word got back to the master that I had switched sides or changed allegiances or what have you. And that didn't sit right with her, considering she removes limbs for transgressions.
Right.
She decided that Lilith was the perfect opportunity to end my life.
She tried to kill you.
She didn't want to. I knew immediately that she did not want to. She was on the verge of tears, even, and we weren't best friends, but I think we built up a rapport. It was her and I, as the only two people who could understand each other in this place, the circumstances that brought us here, and what kind of pressure we were under. But she told me that her sister was in the Master's influence, in that she could be hurt or killed if Lilith didn't do this to me.
Anscombe's quiet.
So when I realized what Lilith was doing, needed to do, to keep someone she cared about alive and safe, I let her get a few hits on me. I mean, I'm sure she could have landed a hit, whether I was fighting back or not, but I didn't truly fight back because I knew that if Lilith went easy on me or let me go, and the Master knew somehow and she could just do that, she could do it, or she could have somebody else figure it out, that Lilith would be fucked anyways. So I tried to make it look convincing by letting her have at me for a bit and then trying to escape, but you saw how well that went.
That's when we found you.
Yeah.
Anscombe's quiet.
So I'm worried that Lilith is going to get... I'm worried that it wasn't convincing enough, or the Master's going to find out somehow that she didn't want to hurt me, or that she was stopped and she's still going to hurt her sister anyways, which is the last thing I want. Or that the Marigard is going to punish her, but I don't... If she's honest with them and she tells them that she's being made to do this, much like I was, she might be able to get out of it. I mean, she might be able to fight back like I'm trying to do.
So then what's next? For you?
I don't know. In regards to what? The Master?
She knows. She sent Lilith after you. And you're
Yeah,
not
she
dead.
does.
So what's
Not
she
yet.
gonna do next?
I don't know. I could send a message to the Master and ask what she's got planned for me, but I don't think she'll be totally honest.
Anscombe looks like he's lost in thought. He says, I don't want you to sleep alone. Especially not while we're in Ferrum or the Academy.
In an attempt to make light of the dark situation they're both in, Lorna will look at him kind of slyly and say, "You don't want me to sleep alone, huh?"
He looks back at you completely serious, and he says, no.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I don't think Lilith's gonna try again, unless she's, her hand is forced, and it's that or losing someone she cares about.
What if it's somebody we don't know?
That's more likely and also entirely possible.
That's what I'm worried about.
It's gonna be a problem from here on out. I'm sorry to say that I don't know what her reach is. I don't know if we go off to Shona, it'll make things better, make things worse. I don't know what kind of agent she has.
Whatever the hell task, whatever we're doing for the Academy, for the Circle, for you. After we finish it, we have to kill the Master.
Yeah. That has to happen. I don't think I'll ever live peacefully while she's alive. I don't think she'll take the slight. She doesn't seem the type.
Why the hell wouldn't she tell your dad where you are?
That too. She could be telling him right now.
Whether she does or not, has or hasn't, she's dangerous to you. So, we kill her.
You really are ride or die.
I've been honest with you this whole time.
I know, it's just, as a not honest by nature person, it's always surprising.
You can lie to anybody you need to. Just don't lie to yourself. That's what my dad told me. I usually just don't bother lying because I lose track of them.
So, you'll stay with me tonight?
Whether you want me to or not.
Okay. And someone else every other night thereafter. I mean, you, of course, are always welcome. But at least someone else.
If it's not me, it's somebody we trust, yeah.
Yeah. The team. I need to let them know.
Yeah.
Of the increased security risk.
I think they'll want to know that there might be assassins about.
I definitely think they'll want to know.
You need to find out about Lilith, what the hell happened. Whether it be tomorrow or sometime soon. You have got to
I can
talk
send
to
her a message right now, but it's limited. It's a couple words. But I don't know what to say or what to ask. Are you okay? I'm sorry it went that way. Can I do anything to help?
I think anything. Just find out if she's gonna keep trying. If she's screwed. If she's still at the academy. If they believed her. Anything.
I should probably send a message.
That is a very handy trick.
It is. I'm so glad that I learned it. Oh, good. I have 2 third-level slots. So 2 messages if I want to.
Okay. Well, you figure out what you're gonna send her, and I'm gonna go get us some food.
Okay. Keep your eyes peeled. You never know where the assassins are.
Oh, I hope they try. And Anscombe gets up and heads to the door. As he does, the door opens, and you hear the chatter of the tavern come through as if you were just in the moment, and it all comes crashing back. While he's gone, do you send a message to Lilith?
Yes, let me just count these words.
Okay.
Okay, this is 22 words.
That's the wrong song. Okay.
Okay, I am sending it to you in chat so you have a copy of it, but I will read it out loud. Lorna casts sending to Lilith, and she says, Lilith, are you okay? Consider being honest with Persh. The Marigard can help you. I can help you. Just tell me how.
It's a long time before you hear any words. You realize that part of the sending you're hearing is Lilith weeping.
Oh, no.
After a long, just break of audio, you hear Lilith say, she killed him.
Oh, no. Is that all I hear?
That's all you hear.
Oh my god. Oh. Okay, hold on. Okay. Lorna's gonna send her final sending. Yeah, with her third level spell slots.
Okay.
And there's raw emotion in Lorna's voice. Like she herself is in tears over this because it's another innocent person who's died because of Lorna in one way, shape, or form. So she will send back. She's gonna pay for this, Lilith. Whether it's me or you, she's gonna die. I promise.
You do not hear Lilith say a coherent word. But you catch her amongst the sobs that seem to be covered. You hear her say the name Claire.
Aw.
That's all you get.
Well, Anscombe's gonna come back to the room and Lorna's gonna be weeping, so that's cool.
Yeah, he comes back in about 10 minutes with
It's like, Jesus Christ.
with a pair of like wooden platters with sandwiches and potatoes on them, and he sees you and he goes, "Okay, what did I miss? Are you okay?" And
I talked to Lilith.
did she say really mean stuff to you? What happened?
No, she's dead. Her sister is dead.
Shit. So it was either you or her, huh?
I guess so. I wish it hadn't been her.
Anscombe sets the platters down and he just pulls you into a hug. She's gonna pay for it.
That's what I said.
Shit. We'll talk to Perce tomorrow. Tell him the truth. Get him to spring, Lilith. Get her to help us.
Yeah.
After Shona.
Yeah.
Are you alright, darling?
No.
I guess that was a stupid question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I thought I was done with innocent people dying. Just seems to be inevitable with me.
No. That's not your fault. That's the Master's fault. The only way we can prevent more innocents from dying is to slay the not innocent one that keeps causing it.
Right.
We have to clean up our mess, right?
Yeah. Even if it's a big one.
she doesn't stand a chance. Especially if you haste me again.
Who knows what tricks will have up my sleeve by then. It will go so fast.
Oh, yeah. That Garthlight doesn't stand a chance.
Lorna spends a very weepy night with Anscombe.
Yeah. It does seem to be on that course. As you do, we will begin maybe the next steps of the next session.
Yeah. God damn.
Yeah, a lot happened. As we come to the end of it,
I'm all snotty now.
it's a dark story. But we're gonna pull through it.
You couldn't have spared Claire.
No, the Master could not.
Weep.
Thank you for playing with me tonight, and to those of you who are at home or at work watching, hi, Penn and Emily and everybody else.
Stop crying at work, Pen.
We love you, and I can't wait to see you next time. Good night, everyone.